Now more than ever, innovative technologies are fueling change and sparking new ways of thinking. Collaboration between corporations and startups is key to staying at the forefront of these trends. However, finding the right startups can be expensive, time-consuming, and ineffective. But Plug and Play is here to help. As a corporate partner, you will gain access to a whole ecosystem of innovation. Discover startups that meet your tech interests. Stay updated on the latest trends and network with industry peers. We will help you during every stage of your innovation journey, no matter where you are and where you want to go. Get in touch today.
And we are live. Woohoo! We're giving people a couple of minutes, of course, to dial in, but for everyone who's already here, welcome to our Goal 21 Expo today. It's so great to have you, and we're super excited to do this event together with you today. So as I said, we are giving a minute or so. It's not 4 p.m. just yet, so hang on tight until everyone is here. All right, everyone. Welcome again to our Goal 21 Expo today. I'm so happy to have you here to dial in, whether you are with us here in the Zoom webinar or watching this event on Facebook. Welcome to our event. And I hope you will have a lot of fun today watching our Taiwanese startups pitches. It's their graduation today of a 3-month program here in Silicon Valley. It's been a program where they work extensively with us and their mentors to improve their business model and to really accelerate their businesses internationally. And with that, I would first like to say 2 thank yous. One thank you to, of course, our partner, TTA. They're with us here today, Director Ye and Erika Lin and Andrea Su, who you will also hear from her later, and from the others, TTA members as well. And then the second thank you is to our mentors who have worked with the startups very intensively over the last couple of months. Thank you so much for always being the heroes of our startups and for accompanying over the 3 months. And with that, I would quickly like to give an introduction about our team. Just 1 second give me 1 second to share my slides here. All right, Daniel, can you give me a quick feedback that you see the slides?
Yes, it's working, Layla. I can see it.
Perfect, wonderful. So, and with that, the quick intro about our team. So I'm Layla Maria Kehl. I'm responsible for partnerships and program management. And Megan is our senior manager on the team. She will be taking over after the slide. And then Daniel is the newest addition to our team. He's helping us with community management and operations. And finally, Jacob, he unfortunately can't be with us today because he is helping to expand Go to Europe. So it's a little bit late for him, but he has helped us a lot to set up this event. So yeah, with that, I pass it to my colleague, Megan. Megan, would you like to take it from here?
Yes, of course. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our event. We're super, super excited to finally have these startups graduating. To give you just a little background on the GOAL program, concurrently with Plug and Play's 18 plus vertically themed corporate innovation platforms, we offer this public sector facing program where we partner with international governments to source the best and the brightest startups from around the world and bring them here to Plug and Play for a 3-month acceleration program. And in just a little bit, you're going to see their progress. Why don't we get right into continuing opening remarks with Jupe.
Hello to all of our friends, partners, and startups. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Global Overseas Acceleration and Learning 2021 Expo, the culmination of Plug and Play's Go program. My name is Jupe Tan, Managing Partner for Plug and Play in Asia Pacific, and also Senior Vice President for our international programs. Our 3-month accelerator empowers international organizations to promote economic development through innovation, internationalization, and entrepreneurship support for startups and entrepreneurs at any stage. While the COVID-19 pandemic has tested many of us, the innovation ecosystem between Silicon Valley, our partners, and startups have thrived and continues to adapt and overcome some of the world's toughest challenges. I would like to extend a warm welcome to today's speakers, including our co-founder Jojo Flores, as well as Andrea Su, Chi-Cheng Ye, Nils Michaelis, and Dave Blakely, who will discuss the future of blockchain, augmented reality, virtual reality, and edutainment. We are excited to have both Taiwanese and Austrian startups in our International Accelerator this quarter present at today's event. They are active in industries including cybersecurity, fintech, mobility, media and advertising, and Internet of Things. I would also like to thank our partner, the Taiwan Tech Arena, for supporting this event, and we look forward to continuing our partnership and building bridges between Silicon Valley and the rest of the world. Thank you everyone for supporting Plug and Play and the startups on their journey. Welcome and enjoy the event, and stay safe wherever you are. Thank you.
I think, Daniel, you wanted to take over from here, right?
Layla, that is still you, but next up on the agenda is a couple of words from Andrea Su.
Yes, she's the General Director of the Ministry of Science and Technology, and it's an absolute honor to have her speak here today. And she's dialing in from Taiwan here and giving us the honor. So thank you so much, Andrea Su.
Good afternoon, Jojo, the co-founder of PNP, and to our friends in Silicon Valley. And good morning to our guests in Taiwan. I'm Andrea, the Director General of Ministry of Science and Technology, MOST of Taiwan. On behalf of MOST, I would like to welcome you to join the Go Expo 2021. It's been a hard time since we have fighting with the pandemic over the past year. However, it's also a great opportunity for startups to show our innovation ideas and capacity to change the world, especially for Taiwanese startups. Some of you have noticed that Taiwan is full of great technology talents, solid high-tech industries, and abundant academic R&D outcomes. We've made good use of this advantage to not only facilitate our economy, but also become an important strength to prevent the virus. To integrate this energy, MOST has built up the most influential startup hub in Taiwan, Taiwan Tech Arena, TTA, playing a key role to help the Taiwanese startups grow and connect to the global markets. Today, we are proud to have 7 outstanding Taiwanese startups here, presenting their coolest innovation ideas such as blockchain, AR/VR technologies to you. I'm also grateful to our long-term partner, PNP, who has accelerated almost 100 Taiwanese startups since 2017. Thank you for making this event possible, and let Silicon Valley and Taiwanese stick together to come out excellent ideas. Finally, I would again like to express my sincere gratitude to all the startups, corporate companies, investors, and startup ecosystem builders. The startup won't be great innovation without your support. I also wish today's demo day a great success. Let the show begin. Thank you.
Wow, that was a wonderful opening statement from Andrea Su. I think really motivating, and yes, the best part is that we are able to see the Taiwanese technologies here today, and that we are able to build the bridge over, from Silicon Valley to Taiwan since 2017, and we too are deeply grateful to be here today together. And with that, I hand it over to Daniel.
Thank you, Layla, for that, and also Andrea for those opening statements. Greatly appreciated. It's also my pleasure to introduce today's Fireside Chat speakers. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Chin-Chen Ye. With a background in mechanical and space engineering, his career has been dedicated to innovation, technology, and government. He has worked at organizations including the Metal Industry Research and Development Center, the National Science Council, and Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs. In his current role as a Director of Science and Technology at the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in San Francisco, he promotes bilateral partnerships between Taiwan and the Bay Area in innovative technology. Accompanying Director Ye is Jojo Flores, the co-founder of Plug and Play Tech Center. Flores grounded his roots in the water bottle industry early in his career in his home country of the Philippines that expanded into Europe, where he successfully put up 12 joint ventures across the continent with Plug and Play's CEO. Jojo is also the co-founder of Launch Garage, an incubator, accelerator, and investor for tech startups in the Philippines and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Welcome, and I'd like to pass the mic on to the both of you. It's a great pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you, Daniel, and Layla, Megan. I miss all of you, and I wish to see you all in person very soon. Hello, Director Ye, how are you? How is San Francisco?
Thank you, Jojo. Thank you for having me here.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. Thank you very much for gracing this event. I'm actually dialing in from Manila, so it's starting to rain here. Hopefully, I guess the weather in San Francisco is much better. Anyway, thank you again, everybody. Welcome to this Fireside Chat, and I'll just get into it. Director Ye, research from Columbia Business School highlights the crucial role the startups play in economic recoveries, but that startups are also struggling significantly as a result of financial pressures induced by this COVID crisis. So my first question to you today is, in what way did Taiwanese startups adapt to this COVID-19 crisis, and what has been their role, you think, in mitigating the crisis?
Yes, thank you, Jojo. Yeah, if you look at the 2020 Startup Ecosystem Research Report conducted by StartBrink, Taiwan is ranked top 10 in the COVID-19 innovation map. This is because we experienced SARS outbreak 18 years ago, learning a lesson from it. And the medical device vertical of startups is also always the strong suit of Taiwan. Some of them turn their technology to fight COVID-19 and have a great achievement. Let me give you a couple of examples of your reference. The first one I'd like to share for you is Brand Navy. Brand Navy mainly focus on designing and developing mechanical device that can assist surgeons during their surgical intervention. When COVID-19 outbreak, Brand Navy applied their robotic technology, facial recognition technology, to develop a facility which can reduce faculty-patient contact with highly infectious disease at the point of test by autonomously navigating and collecting patient sample. This facility has been applied to some hospitals of Taiwan. The second example is Cellular Lighting. Cellular Lighting originally developed a lighting control system for commercial building. When COVID-19 struck, although they lost a lot of pre-order customers of commercial building, they immediately turned to offer systematic ultraviolet light disinfection solution for their original customers, such as a hospital, school, and so on. And Accenture is another story to show you all. Originally, Accenture provides mobile health services. Then it turned its technology and developed an end-to-end digital COVID-19 screening solution, which issuing test results to app users. So I have to say COVID-19 is indeed a crisis to the whole world over the past year. But on the flip side, it also creates a new venture opportunities. The Taiwanese staff are very flexible and adaptive, and they have patience to solve the world crisis. If you are interested in finding good technology against COVID-19, Taiwan is a great place to go to, I think.
Wow, congratulations on that. Very interesting startups. I am also very flexible, as you said, and I think it'll be great if we can get to know them better and introduce them to our customers here, not just in Silicon Valley, but in other parts of the world too. Wonderful, congratulations on that. I have a follow-up question to this subject. A lot of governments are doing this, but do you believe in stimulus packages and relief programs, or does it take more to secure substantial growth past this pandemic?
Well, I do believe in stimulus and relief program. During this pandemic, policymakers need to make painful trade-offs between saving lives and saving livings. The more people are saved from coronavirus during a severe lockdown, the more livelihood will be broken. If you must do harm to the economy, you have to make it reversible, not kill the economy. So keep company complete as much as possible in the chaotic period is the duty of government. Because restarting the economy after COVID-19 move away will be easier if the entrepreneur of manufacturing and retailing are ready to go. So governments stimulus and relief program like subsidizing the salary of workers who would otherwise be laid off become a way to keep company afloat. For Taiwan, we allocated total budget of $4.2 billion US for a stimulus and relief program, which include financial aid, employment assistance, tax break, and stimulus initiative for industries.
Wow, that's very, very impressive. And I'm sure that this stimulus packages that the government is giving is truly helping not just the economy, but also, as you said, all of the startups and livelihood of the people in general. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Let me step back a little bit more, just a little bit, and ask you a little bit more of a generic question. So in the last couple of years, what do you think were the most important steps for Taiwan to support the innovations ecosystem overall? I know you're very active, with TTA, with TechCo, and and the government is really putting a lot of effort in supporting the startups. But what do you think are the key important steps that you guys have done?
Yes, Jojo, you may know that Taiwan is a small island with a powerful technological capacity. So let me give you an overall picture of Taiwan's industrial landscape here. First of all, we are the dominant supplier of advanced chipset and cloud server in the world. We have powerful high-tech, high-end manufacturing. You can find all the manufacturing solutions such as material optics, product structures, all in a place. Almost you name it, we make it. It is also because of this environment. It gives a good foundation for our new generation to innovate, to prototype, to commercialize their idea. And also, university play an essential role to encourage the talent to solve the problem with technologies. I would say that industry-university collaboration heritage is the most important asset for our innovation ecosystem. From today's pitch, I believe you can see that Taiwanese startups are very technology-oriented. Another important factor is that a government has poured in lots of resources to make the innovation ecosystem more and more complete. For example, first, capital support. Taiwan Capital is created to support startup development. Taiwan Capital is backed by National Development Fund, which is Taiwan's sovereign wealth fund. Total fund size is about 500 million US dollars to support the startup development. Second, regulation relief. We re-examine our regulation structure so to free up the innovation flow. Third, we do lots of effort to cultivate our talent. We offer funding to hundreds of Taiwanese talents to Silicon Valley for research, for intern, or for business development. And another important step I would like to mention is that we issue gold cards for foreign investors and entrepreneurs. We encourage foreign entrepreneurs coming to Taiwan to build their engineering team. We also encourage investors to invest our local startups. We provide gold card for qualified investors and entrepreneurs to stay in Taiwan. This card is a 4-in-1 special card, combined work permit, resident visa, residence certificate, re-entry permit in one card. So we are dedicated to provide a friendly environment for foreigners to stay. Last but not least, lots of innovation centers were built throughout the whole island. Taiwan Tech Arena is the most essential place for startups to station. It put together all the good things that has to offer. Startups can find mentors, marketing resources, co-working space, and everything to support them. Thank you.
That's great. You know, we all know TTA or the Taiwan Tech Arena very well. Our longtime partners at Plug and Play with Silicon Valley, and you know, I didn't know about your gold card. That's a great concept. I think maybe you can also add a little bit of credit on that gold card too. Make it a little bit of a credit card too for startups. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, I love what you said. You know that Taiwan has really created a good foundation for startups to flourish, and you've continued supporting that with government resources, with a fund, regulations, etc., as well as collaboration, no? as we have, for example, right now between TTA and Plug and Play. But if I hope you don't mind, Director Ye, if I can also add on to, I think, what you're currently doing. I think what's the big opportunity also that's facing Taiwan in order to further grow the startup ecosystem is to involve and encourage a lot more big corporations to engage with startups. Okay, I think we're already currently trying to see if we can work with other large corporations in Taiwan. As you know, with Plug and Play, we work with over 500 conglomerates from all around the world, and I'd love to see 5 or 10 companies, conglomerates coming out of Taiwan as well, which I think is very important in developing the whole ecosystem. You know, right now with Taiwanese corporations, a lot of the innovation is still very internal, and I think it'll be a great opportunity if we can work together. Our two offices can work together in convincing large corporations in Taiwan to engage more with startups. I hope you're okay with that.
Yep, good.
Great. So as I mentioned, so TTA has been one of our plug and play partners for many years now, sending startups into our our accelerator program. This batch now with 7 startups in blockchain, AR, VR, edtech, entertainment, etc. So my question is, what is the importance, do you think, is this connection between Taiwan and Silicon Valley?
Well, Jojo, you know, you got the right person. I worked for a government department over 20 years. During this period, I was appointed to Silicon Valley 2 times. So I will be happy to share my observation between Silicon Valley and Taiwan. Connection is very, very important. So I want to raise 2 questions. The first one is, do you know Taiwan has several science parks, and they are the driving power of our economy? Second question is that, do you know the role model of our science park is actually Silicon Valley? You know, the answer, all of the 2 answers is yes. Since 1970s, we learned the experience from Silicon Valley, and then I get back home. We put all the high-tech company together as a cluster, and then they grew together organically. And this economic engine is still playing a key role in our economy growth. So you know, you may know that people said that Silicon Valley is the epicenter of IT industry. IT is the abbreviation of information technology. But for me, IT means Indian plus Taiwanese, because Indian engineers help companies of Silicon Valley to develop software. Taiwanese help them to manufacture hardware. So the industry of Silicon Valley and Taiwan is complementary. It's a win-win connection. Otherwise, some Taiwanese have founded the most successful companies in Silicon Valley. For example, Jason Huang, founders of NVIDIA, Steve Chen, founders of YouTube, Jerry Yang, founders of Yahoo. You know, all of them are Taiwanese second generation in the United States. So the successful entrepreneurs, on one hand, inspire millions of startups going forward to chase the dream of changing the world. On the other hand, they represent the binding between Silicon Valley and Taiwan, which is to say that Taiwan and Silicon Valley nourish each other, and we share innovation route. It's very important to keep connection solid. This is why my ministry has set up a team of Taiwan Tech Arena in Silicon Valley. And otherwise, we have a bunch of programs to connect Taiwan and Silicon Valley through a collaboration with Stanford University and UC Berkeley, something like that. We believe that with this diverse and frequent interaction together, we will keep creating exciting things to this world.
That's wonderful. I love your this new thing of Center of IT, Indian and Taiwan. But I agree. I agree. I think Taiwan has been a global player in innovations in hardware for all of us, right? That's great. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Now, I have a last question, if you don't mind, or the best estimates we have suggest that for every high-tech job, there's 5 other jobs that are created in the economy. This is not only because these jobs are high-paying jobs, but also because they create new products, they create new innovations, and of course, it creates export for global economy. So, what is the role, do you think, of TTA in facilitating this growth of startups towards economic outcomes?
Yes, in 2018, we decided to build up Taiwan Tech Arena as an innovation hub for the startup in Taiwan. The mission of Taiwan Tech Arena is to help startups to go global and get international business opportunities. We have 2 strategies to fulfill our mission. The first one is leverage overseas resources, especially Taiwanese American entrepreneurs network. Second one is build strategic partnership with influential organizations like Plug and Play to expand more channel for our startups to reach out market and capital. So in short, the law of Taiwan Tech Arena is to help Taiwanese startups grow and overcome obstacles to access to the global market. This is my thing.
Thank you for that, Director. Yeah, unfortunately we're running out of time. I could go on and on and on, but we'll reserve that when the time comes and I'm able to visit San Francisco again, and I hope to see you in person. But in the meantime, again, thank you very much. We really value this relationship that we've had for a long time now. When I put up the international team in Plug and Play about 10 years ago, our mission was really to bridge startups from all around the world to Silicon Valley and vice versa. Our mission is to create, is to identify and nurture innovation and make it available to everyone everywhere. We live by that mantra, and again, this mission becomes alive with relationships such as what we have with TTA, and we look forward to working with you more, and maybe extend those bridges also, not just in Silicon Valley, but if you want to bridge over at Europe or or here in Southeast Asia or China, just let us know, and we'll be there to support startups coming out of Taiwan. Again, a pleasant good afternoon to you and to our audience. Thank you very much for staying in this fireside chat, and I do hope that you learned something from Director Ye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jojo.
Thank you so much, Jojo, for leading this fireside chat today. And thank you so much, Chi-Cheng Ye, for answering Jojo's questions. It's been such a pleasure having you here today. And I cannot underline the words that Jojo just said more. And actually, we will be showing you how you can build the bridge with us, because especially if you're a startup, you might enjoy going to Taiwan and explore it for the Southeast Asian market. Join us for a quick video interlude. All right.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's event. Thanks for our friend from Taiwan, from Silicon Valley, also from all over the world. I'm Erica Lin. I'm the director of Taiwan Tech Arena Silicon Valley office. Today, it's my honor to introduce our program to you. So after so many good information about Taiwan, are you interested about Taiwan's startup ecosystem? Then TTA is a very good starting point. We are the most popular and the biggest startup hub in Taiwan. If you have a chance to go to Taiwan in person, you can figure out by yourself right away. We are founded in 2019 and fully supported by the Ministry of the Science and Technology, meaning we are a nonprofit organization. So our mission is to connect Taiwan with the global world, global startup ecosystem, and to help Taiwan startup to go global. Our headquarters is in Taipei City. There are 28,000 square feet, and we can host more than 150 startups at the same time. So in the past 2 years, we have already invited and have 7 global acceleration programs in Taiwan side. And also we help our startups connect more than 40 global partners to help them to grow. This is including like acceleration programs such as plug and play, also including like the investors programs like the angel groups, and also including like such like Qualcomm, the big tech companies. So through these ways, our startup can really understand what is the industry demand and to make their program to grow and to go to the global market. So in the 2 years before, in these 2 years, we have 300 startups to join our program, and help them out domestic and help them international. We help them to engage each other. And also we have a special program to help our startup to join the international startup exhibition. So we have more than 500 startups already. And for example, early this year, we brought 200 startups to join the CES Eureka Park show. I think we are one of the top 5 biggest startup delegation in CES. We also support our startup to go to the TechCrunch Disrupt and the Viva Tech. So through this show, they can learn the global market more. So through this effort in the past 2 years, we have already helped our startup raise more than $80 million in this short period. It's not bad, right? And also we have our Silicon Valley office in here. We founded in 2016. We want to play the role as the Taiwan startups home in Silicon Valley, and also helping them to do the business development. We have the office in Santa Clara and also in Sunnyvale. So this is a non-equity subsidy program for Taiwan startups. So the way we do that, we help them to find their mentors to help them to join the acceleration programs and also organize some startup events and such as like the demo day today. So in the past 5 years, we have already helped about 156 startups, and about half of them raise money after joining our program, and about 20% of that, they raised more than $2 million US. So totally, we help our startup raise $119 million in past 5 years. So we hope after our support, with our support, this year they can raise more than $200 million US. So there's another program I want to share to you is the employment gold card. This year we have a special check for the tech startups and the investors. As you know, Taiwan is like just the door to the Asian market. We also have a global leading reliable supply chain, and we have a bunch of talent and the technology. So through this program, you can have the tax reduction and you can have the working permit to stay in Taiwan 1 to 3 years, including your families. If you are interested, please scan the barcode to find more information. So in the end, I still want to say, welcome to Taiwan. There are so many beneficial to go to Taiwan. And also you have an employment gold card program. And also you can find the best Taiwan deal for us. We have a team here in Silicon Valley to help you. I'm Erica, and also we have Alan. If anything, please contact with us directly. So thanks for joining today's event. Wish today's Expo great success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. We have been longing and waiting to see you finally speak at one of our events. And Megan too, she is very happy to see you speak. And I actually pass it to Megan now to kick off our blockchain focused part about this event.
Yes, Erica, oh my gosh, I miss you so much. You already know this. You're the best. Go Taiwan. Next, without further ado, it is our pleasure to introduce our first keynote speaker, Niels Michaelis. Niels, you'll have to correct me if I pronounce your last name wrong. As an international transformation and thought leader with executive experience for world-class consumer-facing companies and management consulting firms, Niels focuses on luxury and consumer goods, retail, travel, hospitality, and financial services. So welcome, Niels.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back, and I look forward to presenting a little bit on blockchain now. Please let me know if you can see the screen nicely.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, Leila, I can see it. Fantastic. No, it's great to be back. A fantastic Fireside Chat, fantastic presentation with Taiwan. I certainly learned a lot here today, and I'm excited to, as soon as travel opens up again, to get there. I know you guys are doing quite well right now. I'm fully jabbed. I think since the 8th of May, I'm what's considered fully vaccinated and effectively. So it's great to be here. Before I kick off, I have to say, really excited when I got the call from Jacob and Leila a couple of weeks ago, and they said, we're doing this session and it's about AR, VR, edutainment, and blockchain. And I was like, yes, finally a chance for me to talk about edutainment, AR, and VR. And then they said, well, actually, we have the best speaker possible for that already. It's Dave, but we want you to talk about blockchain. So I was like, okay, and blockchain. It's probably the one technology that I haven't recognized as much as I should have in the past. I don't really know why. I mean, I've been working on blockchain prototypes. I've been working on blockchain solutions in shipping industries and medical industries in various places, including identity management for many years. But in many cases, people still say, isn't that just a new technology looking for a great use case? And we all know it's not new. Some people say, maybe it's not as easily understood and it's not really clear what blockchain is. And everybody kind of confuses BC blockchain with Bitcoin. And if you look at it, it's not that difficult because you could say blockchain in 100 words. And this is a fantastic, I would say 100-word kind of a version of explaining what the blockchain is all about. Having all of the buzzwords, and I'll let you read it a little bit yourself, around a node being somewhere that has a bunch of transactions on a computer, a ledger, which is in a way a database. And then all of a sudden you have miners who need to do something that with these informations. So it's actually distributed. It's not just on one computer. It's not just in one ledger. It's not just somewhere. And as you make a transaction, everybody finds out about this transaction. So you're not the only one. You're not doing it in peace and silence. You're not doing it in an anonymous way or behind doors. So everybody then needs to check and see if they can actually verify that this is a real thing, and they want to get paid. So it's a rush to get the Bitcoins in this case. So the first one to really check it and validate, to do that proof of work, hits reply all, and everybody has consensus that now that transaction has been verified. So a proof of work has actually shown that the block has been created in a proper way, and the information that's in that block is actually justified. So everybody agrees, everybody uploads their file, and we've got blockchain technology at its finest. So what else is happening? It looks like everybody is working on blockchain. This is just an overview from IDC, third quarter of 2020. I'm sure the next time they bring this out, it will be even a bigger one, even more logos, even more companies. They tend to focus on the market leaders. So not every company will be in here, obviously, but you can see there's companies working on the application layer, service and use case layers, protocol and governance layer, and infrastructure layers. But still, I would maintain that we don't hear enough about blockchain, and we don't see enough blockchain use cases really in action. So if I say WIWWBC, and what do I mean, is what is wrong with blockchain? That's the one that I really like to understand today and that I like to go through, because I think it's important to understand what are some of the weaknesses that are being perceived right now, what are maybe some of the reputational things, what's maybe wrong with the brand itself, because it's definitely not the technology, or at least for most use cases, it's not the technology that's holding us back. So we should ask ourselves, what is wrong with blockchain today? Or should we rather ask, what TF is wrong with BC? Or in other words, and I'll let you read out the third one, what the F is wrong with Bitcoin? Because as I mentioned earlier, and even in that 100 words of how to explain the blockchain, we see the first word that always pops up is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, I would say, is on the one hand a great accelerator of the whole conversation, but it's also hurting the conversation a lot because a lot of people look at the negative that's associated with Bitcoin, look at some of the problems and the issues that they see, and they just think blockchain is Bitcoin. So who can we ask? Maybe Elon. And I think Elon has done a great service to many industries. I'm a particular fan of the stuff that he's doing in space. I love what he's done for the automotive industry. I love what he's done with the payment industry everywhere. And now he's obviously looking a lot at crypto, but also at blockchain use cases. But if we would ask Elon today what is happening, he might say, you know what, it's actually not really a scalable currency. It may not have been meant to be that, but it's definitely not a scalable currency today. Why? On the one hand, if you look at some of the limitations, you've got the transaction speed. A Bitcoin can do 4.6 transactions per second. If you look at Visa, which is one of the leading edge systems in terms of payment reconciliation, that's 1,700. So look at it, every 4 seconds or just under 4 seconds, a Visa system runs more secure transactions than a Bitcoin. It's obviously a very different technology, but just to say, is it useful for mass payment? Right now, no, because transaction speed is holding us back. The other one that's really a big topic these days is the whole topic of energy consumption, because a proof of work showing that there's a consensus that something really happened, that the blockchain is now moving the Bitcoin to somebody else as owner, requires a lot of proof of work. And that's not because we want to have fantastic puzzles to solve. The puzzles, the proof of work is difficult because it should require a lot of energy and a lot of computing power and a lot of hardware, so that it's not easily replicable. But that requires a lot of energy. As you can see here in kilowatt hours, one Bitcoin transaction is 1,200 kilowatt hours. 100,000 Visa transactions are about 149 kilowatt hours. So energy consumption is really awful, which is one of the reasons that Elon sort of fell out of love again with blockchain, with Bitcoin in the last couple of weeks. Then there's 3 other topics that I'll just briefly touch upon. One is vulnerability. If you can take 51% control of the hashing that's going on that particular blockchain, in this case, the Bitcoin, you can actually prevent other miners from creating the next block. That means you own that. Now, this phenomenon hasn't happened a lot. It's only happened maybe one time back, I think in 2014, back when it was also a little bit easier to create that capacity. And then obviously the people behind it said, well, not obviously, but the people behind in that moment said, we're going to ask everybody to pull back. Nobody should have more than 39, maximum 40% of that computing power at any given point of time on their system so that we can keep the integrity of the Bitcoin there. But obviously it raises questions if somebody can take over 51% and control what's happening there. So there's a question of mining and ownership concentration. I put a little question mark there because it's really a question, is it good or bad that it's highly concentrated right now? But there's definitely a question around reputation. And I don't know if we talked about volatility, but if you look here, and this is a screenshot from Yahoo, on the 16th of May, and I think yesterday was another one of those days where it just went up and down, up and down. And if you have a currency, if you talk about currency, you want to have a certain amount of stability. If you move from what you see there on the left, 30,000 as a low to a high of almost 50,000, that's not good. If it shoots up in a short amount of time since 2021 and it drops down, I think yesterday we were close to 30, that is not really good for having a stable currency. Energy consumption, I mentioned earlier, and you get all these statistics always at the bottom right there. You can see right now Bitcoin is using about as much energy as Sweden. We're almost where Malaysia is, and we've surpassed Argentina and Ukraine. That's something that's holding us back. You can see like Bitcoin there on the left, 143 terawatt hours per year. That's more than Norway, and it's about 12 times as much as Google is using in a year. So a lot of questions coming around that. Reputation, that I think is a big one that we need to get over somehow. On the left here, you can see one, I think it's one of the more humorous ones that I've seen recently, where somebody said, so tell me, what is it actually? And they said, imagine if you're keeping your car idling 24/7 just to produce a bunch of Sudokus that you can then trade for heroin. That is not useful for the reputation of Bitcoin. Even if it's funny, even if that means people are taking a little bit of a joke at cryptocurrency, it doesn't help the cause. If you have something like some of the developers here in the middle really going bad at it and saying it's only good for money laundering, vaporware, fraud, ransomware, gambling, and delusion, also not good. And what's the outcome of all these things? A lot more scrutiny on it. And then even Elon at some point, this was just about a week ago, not even a week ago, having that heartbreak there, once again, not good for a currency, because you want to have stability, you want to have people love it all the time, you want to have people trust it, almost like you're in a relationship. Is it anonymous and secure? You can more or less find out very quickly who owns which wallet and where is the money. Just yesterday, we had confirmation that the FBI has seized more than half of the money that was paid for the Colonial Pipeline hacking. The ransom money that was paid, I think it was about 4.4 million at the time in Bitcoin, and they have seized 2.3 million back of that. What were they able to do? They were actually able to access the private key of the hackers. They knew right after it already where the hackers were, what wallets they were using. Took a couple of days, and guess what? That money is back somewhere. At the bottom left, you can see it's not the first time it's happened. The FBI had the Silk Road one back in 2013 already. I think they sold it for $300 per Bitcoin at the time, so not really a great deal for them. Maybe Bulgaria was a bit smarter in 2017, and they kept some of those Bitcoin that they have there. So you can see it's not really anonymous. It's not really unknown where the stuff is. And secure, if people can hack into your private key, if you're not holding as a cold storage in your own wallet, then not really secure. And at the same time, on the right side there, you can see if you do have it in a cold wallet, sometimes people lose their passwords. So not always easy for people to retrieve it. Estimates are that about 4 million Bitcoin have been lost already, which is quite a lot if you think about it. But I don't want to complain about Bitcoin here. We're talking about blockchain. Just one more piece of history. Why did Bitcoin actually come, and what's all the good thinking behind it is? Back in 2008, we had a big financial crisis. And at the time, profits were privatized. But at the same time, people were getting a little bit sick and tired of losses getting socialized. So there was, and there is, I think, a need for a decentralized digital currency to keep stability. And that is not as easily done as you can see with Bitcoin. It's not as easily done as you can see with Libra, the project that Facebook started, where you say, I want to have a decentralized digital currency, but I don't want anybody controlling it. And then you get all the fluctuation, and then you get doubts and hesitation. So what is it actually? But I mean, we learn a lot from Bitcoin. But if we look back at blockchain, what is it really good for? Then we can say it is a database with special characteristics. And I think nobody has drawn this picture better than Euromoney. If you look at those properties of digital ledger technology, which is another word for blockchain, those special characteristics are that it's distributed, it's immutable, it's timestamped, so it's clear when something happens, it's unanimous, because you need to have everybody agree, otherwise a block doesn't get created, doesn't get finalized. Anonymous, question mark, as I just showed a little bit earlier, pseudonymous at the best, but in the end, you can still more or less understand who the actors are. And that's not a bad thing, because for most of the use cases that we have, we want to know who's the owner of data, who is sharing the data, who's providing the data, because it's about building trust and efficiency. It's actually not about hiding away things. It's really about being open and transparent. That's what the blockchain and that's what the DLT is really for. And secure and programmable are the other two. And programmable, I think smart contracts, that's really where the future lies, and that's what everybody's hoping. So in essence, we're looking at a technology that has been built or is being built and is continuing to be developed, including by teams like you here on the call today, to build trust and efficiency in a digital world, because you only want to be able to sell something one time. You want to make sure that that ownership is clear. You want to have digital rights to what you've got. If you think about it, it's actually quite simple. On the left hand, you see what is the model to build trust and efficiency in many of today's worlds. And that is today's model being based on the 1950s message and response system. What does that mean? That means that if I want to check something with Leila, I have to say, did you get it? Did you get my file? Do you have access to this data? Is it correct that the presentation starts at 7:35? If we had put it in a smart contract, 0 messages back and forth, because the invite is already in a blockchain, or everything that I need to know is there. So if you think about what's happening today, more and more data being available, more and more data being able to be exchanged and should be exchanged for better collaboration, that's getting more and more difficult if you stay in a message and response-based system. You have version controls. You need to control who's actually accessed it. You have a lot of manual efforts, you've got time lags, and there's ownership disputes, because I could buy right now a picture that somebody drew here, and I could be the first one to bid on it, but that doesn't mean that I'm the only one that's going to buy it. That's why you need things that are different, like the NFTs that you see on the right side. Tomorrow's model, or actually today's model for those that are already using the blockchain, blockchain allows us to significantly change that because we can have trust, accuracy, and reliability through automated sharing, which is what the blockchain allows us to do both in B2C and B2B, which basically means there's a single source of truth, and I see what you see what I see, in very simple words. And that's then great use cases because all of a sudden you get digital rights working, you got smart contracts, you can have a digital currency, and digital currencies can be both state controlled or state sponsored, so all the central bank digital currencies, China right now working heavily on that, Sweden, many other countries saying, okay, how do we actually build a central bank controlled digital currency so that we don't inflate the money, digital twins, digital registries, enterprise blockchains basically being something that means that there's a sort of a private blockchain that's being run between different enterprises, which is very much about creating that back and forth of information, interoperability, very difficult word. So if you think of the Internet of Things, lots of data getting exchanged, that's stuff that is perfect for a blockchain. If you ask me, what are 3 of my very favorite use cases? I think we've seen some of those getting more and more hype these days in a good way. On the one hand, it's that whole digital passport identity management. So there's this initiative around KDTI. So that's the known traveler digital identity for more efficient travel. If you know who I am, if you know that my passport has been issued by a third authority, that should keep those lines at the bottom left from actually happening, because we should be able to clear immigration much quicker. We should be able to share our data. We should be able to even say, you know, if I'm renting a car, please just share that I'm older than 25 so that I do not have to pay more money. Please share certain elements of a driver's license with the car rental company, but only that part of it. So it's a clear intent of what I want to share. I'm issuing clear rights as part of that identity management. I'm giving basically an obligation to that car rental company or to that airline or to the immigration authority to use only that. And then once they're done, I revoke basically that permission. And that's a fantastic use for the blockchain, right? At the same time, with all the refugee crisis going on, digital verification and sharing of information and identity for documentless people, register once, and you have the opportunity to basically create an identity that is then valid across the planet. One of my very, very favorite ones, and Leila and I spoke about this one running up to this, is that whole digital ownership of property register. So one of the best things would be, or is, many countries are doing this now, to actually put the land and property rights into a blockchain. Why? Because that reduces corruption and double ownership. It's very clear that if it's handwritten down and if it's just on paper, even if it's scanned paper, that there can be a lot of mistakes being made, a lot of fraud could be happening. But also double ownership could happen. And Honduras is actually a pioneer in that space. So back in 2015, they said, we're going to start putting all of the houses here onto a digital registry that is blockchain based. And why? Because they found out that on paper, a lot of the nice beach houses actually belong to some government officials or people that weren't staying in those houses, people that weren't collecting rent for staying in those houses. So it seemed like actually there were other people who may have had not just possession of that house, but the ownership. So Honduras said, we're going to stop that. We're going to put it on a digital registry that's blockchain based. There's going to be no alterations, and many, many countries have followed suit. It's actually a great way to get out of poverty. So if you think of places like Ghana, about 80–90% of land is not properly assigned. There is no ownership rights to it. So if you're the farmer on that, and all of a sudden somebody says, no, you're not allowed to farm here anymore, and you say, yeah, but I've been here for generations and generations, that's not a great thing. So a way to build stability, a way to get people out of poverty is actually to do these kind of solutions, which are fantastic. And then obviously with COVID, one of the best use cases that has been accelerated very quickly now is healthcare, and record access is basically verifying and storing medical histories of patients. Like I said earlier, if it's clear that I've been jabbed twice, if it's clear that 2 weeks later, my Moderna vaccine in that case kicked in completely, I should be able to travel. So add that to my digital identity, add that to my passport. And it should be clear that I don't just have a piece of paper, but I can actually share the proof that I had a certain charge of Moderna, a certain batch of that it was given to me in a certain location, that it was checked by a doctor, that I didn't have COVID, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I can just share certain parts of my medical place, and I should be able to come to Taiwan and hopefully next time do this presentation in person, either in Taiwan or in the Philippines with Jojo, or maybe later we finally get a chance that I work it out of San Francisco. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Niels. I feel that this presentation has been long overdue. There has been so much confusion around blockchain, and I feel that this really helps people to get clarity. Where does it make sense? Where doesn't it make sense? Really getting a clear picture where there's a future for blockchain. So thank you again so much for being here. And if you don't make it to San Francisco, we might as well just visit you in Singapore, because we have a couple of friends there. We have our office there. So it's a good excuse for us to get out as well.
I think Jupe and I would be delighted. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
And with that, also let me remove your spotlight so that here. Okay, perfect. And with that, we are getting into our startup pitches finally. So let me share my screen again and dive right in. So a quick note here. So after our event, we'll have a networking session, and you will be able to meet the startups in person, not really in person, but as much in person as it gets, with virtual breakout rooms in a Zoom meeting. And we will share the link to the networking meeting at the end of this event. My colleague Daniel, he can also share it right now. So just that you have it, if you would like to come back to the networking. So with that, let's dive into our first startup here, which is KryptoGO, actually a blockchain solution. So right on the topic, KryptoGO is a fintech company, and they provide the most advanced patented and location financial regulatory search engine. So they help you to identify your customer. And I mean, who can better explain it than Larry, who has been with us in the 3 months
Hi, I'm Larry
program.
from KryptoGO. KryptoGO is a RegTech startup of talented AI, blockchain, and finance experts. Our KYABC solution empowers people to scale their businesses by helping them verify people, business, and crypto. It is very easy to connect with anyone on the internet, but hard to build a valuable relationship without trust. Our founder and CEO, Gordon, encountered this problem firsthand when he was the president of Culminate, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in Taiwan with over 150 employees. He couldn't find an effective KYC AML solution in the market that could scale without employing hundreds of KYC analysts as the company grew users. This is caused by several problems associated with legacy KYC solutions. First, in Asia, thousands of people have the same name, resulting in many false positives. Also, legacy solutions lack data in foreign languages and aren't updated in real time. As a result, out of the $34 billion that financial institutions spend on compliance annually, labor costs accounts for $25 billion, which is over 70% of the total cost. Our solution helped these companies save over 80% of that cost by automating this process. Our complete data sources allow banks to complete KYC AML all in one place, and our AI helps them analyze the data, reduce the false positives, completing the compliance process with just one click. Not only do our databases support traditional KYB and KYC, we also can do blockchain analysis for crypto and for virtual asset service providers such as crypto exchanges. Our enterprise model provides customized on-premise solutions for large financial institutions such as banks. Our premium model targets small to medium financial institutions such as cryptocurrency exchanges, and our low standard model gives the general public access to bank-grade KYC solutions at a price as low as $6.99 a year. This year, our solution has been adopted by one of the largest state-owned banks in Taiwan, Megabank, which is currently being used to conduct KYC in over 13 countries in 4 languages, and we will start expanding to overseas markets starting in 2022. Now that we have been recognized by banks, our ability to comply with regulation standards are no longer questioned. Introducing the KYC passport, the KryptoGO passport, where users conduct due diligence on themselves using a universal standard. The KryptoGO passport replaces repetitive requests for KYC documents with a single reusable master record that can be shared on the blockchain. As a result, we create a trusted financial ecosystem where users only need to do KYC once, and after that, they're able to apply for financial services without friction within the ecosystem. Our founder and CEO, Gordon, has built large-scale successful applications such as cryptocurrency exchange Robinhood and the Dexon blockchain. He's also a certified anti-money laundering specialist. Our co-founder Jing is the CTO of the first and only Taiwanese unicorn iTutor Group. With team members specializing in blockchain, AI, and finance, we have the dream team to build the financial infrastructure for scaling trust in the digital age. Our solution is ready to scale for international markets, and we are looking for potential partners to help us prepare our pre-A round funding next year and partners to help us enter the US market. Thank you.
Thank you to Larry. And if you would like, sorry, I forgot to mute myself again. I wonder if we ever learn to not make that mistake at least once in an event. But well, here I am again. So thanks again to KryptoGO. And if you would like to meet the startups, then definitely make sure to visit them at the networking. Our second blockchain startup will be introduced by Daniel. So Daniel, back to you.
Thanks, Layla, and thank you, KryptoGO. So for blockchain security, it was established in 2018, and this startup combines information security, digital evidence preservation, and blockchain to provide advanced solutions to various industries, and you can check out their pitch in the next slide.
Hi, I'm Ting with Blockchain Security. Today, I'm going to talk about how we help property managers massively save their time and simplify their lives in court cases. Have you heard about professional tenants? They are a group of tenants that are intentionally not paying the rent or late. They often understand how to play the rules, and it may cost the landlord up to $10,000 and 6 months or more just to get rid of one of those bad tenants. It's a loss for landlords. It's also an extreme headache for the property managers. Each year, there are millions of eviction cases filed in the United States. However, the property manager doesn't get any more money for doing this, and the time wasted in this could have gotten a lot more money in business. We want to make everything just simple and traceable using blockchain technology. Many of you know DocuSign, which you use for legal agreements. But there's much more than legal agreements when you need to properly document the situation of a rental. And we capture all these types of information, no matter if it's a formal or informal document. Again, our blockchain system ensures the integrity and authenticity of different types of digital data and keeps all parties on one page. Our business model is providing a SaaS for property managers, which start from $20 a year for a unit. We are like insurance for the authenticity of your documents, like lease agreement, multimedia, and communication records. More than that, we have premier services, which have extra protection with much more values attached. For example, the audit certificate or a professional attorney if you are going to the court, or you just want to sign one more pet agreement. Now, we know that there are more than 43 million residential units that are currently occupied in states. We are targeting 25% of that using our SaaS package, and this can give us more than $200 million market opportunity. Our story started when working with the law enforcement, where the criminal evidence collection and documents authenticity are well needed by the police, the prosecutor, and the military. And we moved that into multiple different areas like customs, research, corporates, and then we went to real estate. And we are now working with the health associations and arbitration professionals in Taiwan. And that's all because our founders and team members have a long set of experience in these areas, and we are still expanding our market. And finally, we are looking for strategic partners and investors to do a better service integration in the US market. We are Blockchain Security. Thanks for your attention.
And again, unmute first. Thanks again, Ting, for that fantastic presentation. As Neil said, there's a huge market in real estate, so I hope that we will be seeing more blockchain in that area, perhaps coming from blockchain security. And with that, I would like to introduce International Trust Machines. They make blockchain-enabled IC and blockchain scaling solutions. And I pass it over to Alvin.
Hi everybody, I'm Alvin Kuo from ITM, International Trust Machines. It is my pleasure to present ITM's blockchain enabling scaling solutions to solve the trust and the data integrity problems in the digital era. Who is this man? Is it Elon Musk or Nicolas Cage? Today, fake news, deepfake, financial fraud, and the issues of trust and data integrity are everywhere. How do you solve this? Data integrity is a big market, and it will be worth $20 billion by 2026. We are focusing on the technology sector embedded into IoT devices. ITM aims at capture 20 million of it over the next 5 years. Our first ever customer is the #1 energy provider in Taiwan. We solve the REC, renewable energy certification problem. We provide 50% cost saving. We reduce the time to reissue the certificate from 30 days to 30 seconds, and enhance the trust by directly recording power source data. Our solution is a scalable, lightweight SDK that saves fingerprinted attestable data on the blockchain. We enable blockchain solutions in the smart IoT world in 3 major categories. In the supply chain 4.0, to solve issues between manufacturers. In insurance claims, to certify dash camera recordings. And in energy systems, to certify renewable energy credit. The business model is simple and straightforward. The price is decided either by device or by transactions. It provides a scalable revenue with a healthy gross margin. Microsoft is ITM's partner. We co-sell our SDK and are listed on the Azure Marketplace. We won a Qualcomm contest and got their endorsement. Top manufacturers MediaTek and Wistron have invested in ITM already. ITM's 12-people team includes Golden Triangle founders. Julian Chen, our CEO, who used to lead a 100-people blockchain team for 6 years. Dr. Huang, our CTO, who owns 2 global patents, and Richard Wang, our CFO, who has 10 years M&A experiences, including McKinsey. The global team footprint is also spread out to the US and Japan. In a nutshell, the ITM SDK enables solutions to increase trust leverage in blockchain. It's scalable, lightweight, and testable. As your trust machines. Thank you.
Sorry, my computer has had a lot of workload, so give me 1 second to reload the deck. Okay, here we go. I hope everyone can see it again. Here we go.
Layla, thanks for that. And thank you, ITM, for that pitch. It was great to see that new and upcoming tech. Next up, we have AIPLUC. And AIPLUC makes international IP protection available and affordable to all designers, startups, SMEs, and other organizations by providing a one-stop platform and lowering costs. Right after this pitch, we will also give everyone a chance to stretch or grab some water, but first up, here is their pitch.
Hello everyone, this is Vincent from AIPLUC. We are building a one-stop platform for global IP protection. Do you know even brands like Air Jordan and Tesla can have copycats register their trademarks? Crazy, right? Things like this happen again and again because language barrier and local regulations make cross-border IP filing so expensive and hard and slow. And the market size behind the problem is around 72 billion US dollars. Our solution is LOFA, a new style online IP service. It features functions like easy search on trademarks in China and other Asia countries, and a highly automated system that allows applicants to file for foreign trademarks in 5 minutes, with a 70% off compared to traditional IP firms. The secret behind it is 187 steps of robotic procedure automation and 30 million trademarks in our IP database, plus more than 20 years experience in the industry. We have 3 incomparable advantages. First, we allow users to file for protections in multiple countries at the same time. Second, our multinational trademark search gives our user access to non-transparent Asian data. Third, AIPLUC dedicates on automation of the platform, which is the synonym of a best price for our clients. And we also have 3 different channels to promote the platform. Digital marketing brings us even the smallest business like street food vendors, and partnerships with more than 30 incubators. It brings us the clients with the most cutting-edge technologies. And more than 40 agents work with us like designers and law firms that expand our services even further. And like Carta, we profit from early-stage companies. And our team is handpicked to fulfill the mission. Our CEO, Alfred, has 22 years experience in patent prosecution. Our CTO, Vin, is an expert of natural language processing from Academia Sinica. Nancy Wu, our US branch manager, is a licensed attorney in California, New York, and Taiwan. And Professor Liu, our angel investor and chief advisor, is the godfather of IP industry in Taiwan. In the last 5 months, we have reached 160K of revenue. The gross profit rate was 65%. And we have now more than 200 paying users and 300 applications filed. And in Taiwan, we reach 2% of market share in new cases filing. Now we are raising our seed round funding and look for a break-even point in the 3rd quarter next year. Finally, we are AIPLUC. We can help you brand Asia in 5 minutes. Welcome to contact us for further information. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. What could be better to build a bridge as well to have the IP protection in both countries, especially as a startup? It is important in these times where the world is global. And yeah, super important for sure. And now we would like to give you the opportunity to quickly grab some water because we have been sitting together for an hour and be back in 5 minutes. We'll play some music, get some time to stretch, roll your shoulders, get up, make some exercises, and see you back at 5:20. Oops. All right, one more minute until we are getting back to our event. I hope you all had the chance to stretch a little bit. Something that I've been missing in some events, to be honest, over 2020. There were some events, can you believe it? They were 4 hours. And then we had to sit and like no chance to have a break. So I hope you enjoyed this little 5-minute interruption. And with that, let's get back to our slideshow. All right.
Yes. So next up on the agenda is our next keynote speaker, Dave Blakely. Dave is the Senior Vice President of Mach 49, where he helps organizations innovate and grow by exploring links between emerging technologies, business opportunities, and customer needs. David's clients grow disruptive new ventures, launching new offers, and fostering entirely new ways of doing business. Please welcome Dave.
Well, thanks everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me confirm that you can hear me just fine.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Well, it's good to be here. I am an electrical engineer by training, so I've enjoyed working with Taiwan and with Taiwanese nationals really for my whole career. I think it's worth pointing out that I am a native Californian. Taiwan is actually California's 5th largest trading partner. Largely because of its excellence in areas like Internet of Things and chip design. I'd like to spend a few minutes, and I'll share my screen, talking about how Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, how world-class entrepreneurs think about opportunities in virtual reality and augmented reality. And let me confirm that my screen is showing up.
Yes, right and clear.
And let me also confirm that it advanced.
Yes.
Great.
It works. Thank you, Dave.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's always important to confirm that. So I want to talk to you about some of the interesting applications I've seen for augmented and virtual reality, but really what I want to talk to you about is process. One of the things I've noticed in many years of working with Taiwan, working with world-class organizations like TSMC and so on, is that I think that it's exciting to be working right now and exposed to some Taiwanese entrepreneurs. And I think there's tremendous opportunity for growth in the entrepreneurial culture in Taiwan generally. And I think more than anything, we all need to have the conviction that entrepreneurship and innovation, building startups, is a learnable skill, not some sort of innate talent. So I want to just say a few specific words about that in the context of AR and VR. How have I observed world-class entrepreneurs working with either emerging AR and VR technology or existing systems like the Oculus Rift? How have I seen them create remarkable applications and remarkable new lines of business? I think what I want to say, and I'm going to give you some examples in a minute, is it is by focusing on real human problems that we come up with the most compelling applications. So the Uber folks, the people that created Uber, the ride-sharing service, who I spoke to years ago, they didn't start by saying, I'm going to combine automotive assets, cloud computing, mobility, and GPS, and in their merger create a business. They didn't start with technology. And in the same way, I don't recommend that you start fundamentally with AR or VR as the foundation of a business. I recommend that you always start with customer pain and ask yourself, what problems do people experience? Having satisfied yourself that you've got your hands on a crisp, clear customer pain, then let's talk about the art of the possible. Let's talk about how augmented reality, virtual reality, technologies of edutainment, wearables, synthetic biology, big data, machine learning, how all these technologies can potentially be brought to bear on genuine customer pain points. And finally, a characteristic that I've seen of the hottest entrepreneurs working in augmented reality and everywhere else is that no matter how big the effort is that they put together, they always parse it down into a series of experiments and small bets, taking a page from the Agile playbook. So with that philosophy in place, and I hope that makes sense to everybody, what can we say about about augmented reality and virtual reality? Well, let's start with some of the examples of some of the pain points that I was describing earlier. On several different programs working very closely with the US Navy and the US Marines, in particular working with the submarine force through Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, and also working with Hitachi on some programs on complex capital equipment. Here's something that we discovered. A pain point that we learned in speaking to technicians and in developing and when we gained a genuine appreciation for some of the pains and some of the challenges that new technicians faced as they diagnosed and repaired complex systems such as jet engines, complex manufacturing equipment, or network servers. They were often very inefficient and very ineffective. And frankly, the pain point was it took them one hell of a long time to come up with the actual solution and to diagnose the actual problem due to lack of real-time information and advice. So there's your pain point. One young woman told us, look, we're active learners. We left our education after high school because we hated classrooms. Give us hands-on training with experts. Don't give us classroom teaching. She was complaining about how ineffective classroom teaching had been for network technician work that she was attempting to do. Another young man told me, it took me 3 hours to diagnose a failed capacitor in the power supply because he just didn't have access to that expert advice. When you hear things like that, now it's time to think, when you hear pain points like that, now it's time to think, how might I bring augmented reality or virtual reality to bear? I was particularly interested in the entrepreneurs working in ScienceVR in that particular group because you were focused on the potential of VR, in your case, to make STEM education fun. In this case, we're also talking about VR and AR in service of in service of training. The next step I recommend you go through as you're thinking about how you might bring AR or VR to bear on a real pain point, on a real challenge that people are facing, is write out a challenge statement. And there are any number of good ways to write out an effective challenge statement, but I'm going to show you one in a minute that we wrote out for AR and VR. A good challenge statement, a good statement to galvanize a startup team includes, who are your stakeholders? Who are the stakeholders in your success? Who are your customers and other stakeholders? Exactly what is your objective? What do you want to accomplish? Okay, and then the last section is, what's the benefit or the goal? So for the challenge I spoke to you about earlier, where technicians got very confused and were very inefficient working on challenging pieces of capital equipment, what we ended up with was this challenge question. How about we provide personalized real-time support for field technicians diagnosing, troubleshooting, and maintaining complex capital equipment in ways that use our institutional knowledge and benefit from leading-edge technology so that we drastically increase our efficiency. Sorry, I need to modify my screen a little bit. So in ways that we dramatically increase our efficiency and improve the ability to service our complex systems. So having created a challenge question like this, now we're in a position to start to imagine solutions. This is why we're talking about AR and VR here. Now we're talking about doing simple prototypes, simple concepts, and simple storyboards. So I recommend that early on, when you have an idea, you use simple sketches and tell simple stories with your stakeholders. This, for example, is a system that we showed to a variety of technicians to see if AR and VR could be brought to bear to help them, improve their ability to better service these complex pieces of capital equipment. Having made some progress, we then went on to create simple, low-fidelity prototypes, and you can see some examples of these on the board, combining both augmented and virtual reality, showing people on the ground in very practical, tangible terms what AR or VR might mean to them to make them more effective service technicians. So again, starting by understanding the problem, creating a challenge question, and then creating simple, low-fidelity solutions that you surface to people, and then higher fidelity solutions like this. These are very important steps. It's important to have the humility to know that you can't intuit people's end problems and how they might use AR and VR, but people will certainly tell you what they do and don't like. What are some other candidate pain points that I've observed that are pretty compelling for AR and VR? And let me just one more time confirm that my screen is still advancing. Somebody just give me a thumbs up.
Yes,
Oh,
thumbs up.
So working with helicopter pilots at home, I was working with a set of interaction designers, and we were relaying out the telemetry and the avionics in next generation helicopters. You always build prototypes using tools like foam core if you're going to move things around in a helicopter. How do you do that during COVID? How do you do that where it's really not safe to meet face to face? This was about 14 months ago when COVID, at least in the US, was at its peak. What we did in that case was to create AR-based wireframe simulations of what a new cockpit might look like and send Oculus Rift headsets to the helicopter pilots to get their feedback, okay? Something we heard over and over from foremen working for Stanley Black & Decker, the tools company. One things we learned in innovating with them was when you talk to the foreman, the head of the trades in construction sites, the person who's looking after plumbing, the person who's looking after electronics and so on, something they constantly complained about was they have no single source of truth for design updates, to understand what, for example, what air conditioning systems have been ordered. Here again, having identified that pain, some augmented reality solutions in which the information was overlaid on the physical construction site was very interesting. For Shell, the oil and gas company, which is now moving into renewables, wind turbine technicians who complained about lack of institutional knowledge about repair and diagnostics for wind turbines, again, were very, very interested in training and information gathering via AR. And finally, I was interested in, I'm not sure how you pronounce the startup that came from this group, Unusli, the sort of, as you called it, giving sales superpower to brick and mortar. A large global retailer, who I can't mention to you yet, but you've all heard of them, is really interested in AR and VR because they're losing ground with millennials. And people are pretty unimpressed with what they call their omni-channel experiences. They've done a pretty bad job, as have most retailers, of combining, e-commerce, mobile applications, websites, and so on. And AR and VR appear to have a lot of potential there. Looking back on the very first example I gave, helicopter pilots, we actually, created, as I mentioned, simple wireframe solutions, sent Oculus Rift headsets out to the pilots, and did tests with them for these new layouts that we had come up with. Looking at the Miffley Makar, the idea that came from this group around AR VR builders without coding, that would have been something like that would have been really valuable to us to very quickly mock up solutions. So I just want to close by urging every entrepreneur in this group to think about two questions. Exactly what problem are you solving, and who are you solving it for? And exactly how will you test your solutions, agile style, showing a series of low fidelity mock-ups to your to potential customers. So thank you for listening. I sure hope this was useful, and I can take some questions after this session is complete, if anyone is interested.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dave. And absolutely with you, you always need to solve a problem to scale your business, but also to bring it to the market, because that is your market, solving the problem for other corporates. And I kind of see synergies for us to connect more, to get you in touch with our startups in our program. So let's make sure to more often connect with you with our startup batches here, so that they can solve the actual real world problems. But it's been so great. Yeah, it's been great having you here, talking about the future of AR, VR, and edutainment. And with that, we'll dive into our next round of startup pitches. Dave already mentioned the couple of startups you will hear from, so that was a kind of like a little hint. So I'll get back to my slide deck here. All right. Perfect. And Tourmato will be first. Here we go. So Tourmato builds technology that shortens the home sales cycle. And I won't even give a long description here, because Luke will be talking about a lot of what he does, and Dave already mentioned it as well. So enjoy. Tourmato.
Hi, I'm Luke, the founder of Tourmato. We build technology that shortens the home sales cycle. Demand for homes is really high. However, home buying process takes too long. As a result, buyers lose ideal home and brokers lose money. Tourmato shortens the home sales cycle by providing accurate and virtual tool. We make home sales faster and buyers act quicker. In our accurate virtual tool, we provide every critical information to buyers, such as their cost to fix chimney issue, or a roof lifetime, or the neighborhood safety score, and the future construction notice about BART station, or the remodeling history on kitchen or bathroom. In our accurate virtual tool, we give organized and honest information to help brokers build trust with buyers and help buyers to make decisions efficiently. Our business model is the percentage of home sale as the commission. Because the real estate market is so big, even 1% of Asian buyers in the Bay Area can give us a $10 million revenue. We make home sales faster and bigger. We are actually a sales development company instead of a content company or a SaaS company. We have a real estate license. We are able to access listing systems and provide disclosure information about homes. We work with accelerator and social media to amplify our impact. I'm Luke, the founder and CEO of Tourmato, not only a realtor, but also a Google engineer in Princeton Loom to drive our technology. And we have a lean on product operation with great experience from YouTube and Google. And we also have Tommy with great experience from Stanford Law School and Roblox to build a trustable real estate legal process in Tourmato. Based on the business model we have, I'm very confident that we're able to achieve 3 million revenue by the end of next year by making over 200 home sales. As a return for our investor, we return percentage of home sales as well back to our investor. So the more home sales we make, the more return back to our investors. In this Q2, we partnership with Redfin to conduct over 50 home tours with over 100 Asian buyers in South Bay. In this Q3 and Q4, we are going to start a partnership with South Bay, the famous luxury real estate brand, to push our technology for the entire Bay Area for entire Asian buyers. In long term, we will be a virtual broker to make home sales for people all over the world to globalize the real estate industry. And I'm very happy to work with North American and APEC partners to align great visions with us. Here, I'm asking $1 million investment to build a stronger business machine and ask great brokers to join us. With this resource, I'm very confident we are able to achieve $3 million revenue by the next year. Thanks for your attention. I'm happy to talk more to you.
Thank you, Luke, for that explanation of Tourmato. Super interesting to see the connection between your tech and helping the real estate business. Next up, we have ScienceVR, and this startup makes learning science fun and engaging for STEM learners in middle and high school with VR and AR technology.
This is Jackie Lee from ScienceVR. We make knowledge learning 10x more engaging. I was inspired by my son's words, learning while having fun makes learning easier. Learning This is Jackie Lee from ScienceVR. We make knowledge learning 10x more engaging. I was inspired by my son's words, learning while having fun makes learning easier. Learning typically requires being present in an educational environment and interacting with some form of knowledge. I believe virtual reality is where education and entertainment converge. At ScienceVR, we're creating software that makes delightful learning possible. To me, our VR software is eating the world. Our users are immersed with stories and knowledge, visualized in delightful ways. We have been bootstrapping and working with science museums to explore the edutainment industry. We learned that our software can fully capture learning activities and provide 10x engaging experiences. Now we have an opportunity to scale it further. First, since the pandemic, there's a global infrastructural shift for e-learning and entertainment. Personal workstations enable users around the world to participate in virtual activities. This tech infrastructure is currently available for more than 2 billion users worldwide. Second, we're building a software-based learning facilitator that works not only in VR, but in web browsers. No headsets required. Our software approach provides an alternative for hosting a group of participants without a human moderator. Our technology is more accessible and scalable to enable learning in immersive environments. Our metaverse is only one URL away for billions of users around the world. Third, we're working with partners. Some of them have the largest distribution channels in the edutainment industry, Smithsonian Museums, and Discovery Education. I would like to highlight our collaboration with Smithsonian Museums. Smithsonian has 4 million digitized historical artifacts. They have been actively working on combining K-12 learning methodologies developed by Harvard Grad School of Education with digital artifacts. Our software-based automated learning facilitator can help distribute learning methodologies with digital artifacts at scale. We plan to monetize like museum stores by issuing digital souvenirs such as NFTs that represent knowledge learning activities. Finally, it does take a village to unlock the possibility of a 10x engaging edutainment metaverse. We are a team of MIT Media Lab and CSAIL PhD grads specialized in AR, VR, and AI. We're looking for investors to participate in our 500K pre-seed round. We'll use this funding to boost the software development, scale up our WebXR platform with public domain data on top of our Smithsonian efforts. We'll commercialize our museum learning activities as NFTs for the next 12 months. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Jackie. And I'm definitely looking forward to be able to go to the museum again. I thought about that last weekend, actually, that's one of the things I really miss, being able to just immerse yourself into another world, into another era of history. And so we hope that museums will open soon, and hopefully with the new AR/VR experience for us. And with that, I would kind of step to the next startup, which is MyFly. So originally that name comes from Mind and Idea Fly, and they offer an image type drag and drop system which allow you to quickly create an AR/VR mobile application in less than 10 minutes. And they don't need any code for that. So isn't that awesome? So how that exactly works, you'll see it now in a minute.
Hi, my name is Josh Go, co-founder of Mach, an AR/VR build for corporate education staff to build AR/VR training materials with no need for coding. Content creators face many issues, including the need for experienced engineers, which results in high costs and long solution delivery times. Introducing Mach, the first AR/VR open platform in Taiwan. Easy to use. Through image drag and drop, content experts can create AR/VR mobile applications project in just 90 minutes without any coding. Cost effective, only $1,000 for one license per year. Mach allowed educators to directly upload 2D materials, 3D models, video, voice, and panoramic materials to the cloud. Edit on the cloud and download to the destination devices on demand. Usages are AR/VR education, advertiser campaign, and industry application. Mach can access through many mainstream AR/VR and goggles or head-mounted display. Mach has sold to over 200 businesses, and our revenue is growing 100% year-over-year. Partners include Geoglass, Epson, Medgas, HTC, and we plan to work with many more. We have 8 patents, 4 granted, and protect our platform solutions. And we developed a lot of innovation AR/VR application modules and positioned in a full features platform, all focused on allowing educators to create and edit content directly. Sales are mostly to governments groups, including the schools and universities, but we are seeing much interest from business-to-business corporations. Go-to-market by corporate business-to-business expansion gives us big growth and increasing margins. Right now, we are seeking $2 million to help speed up our growth. We intend to use the money to platform scale up, including sales and marketing team build. Roger, Lina, and I are experts in running an AR/VR educator business. Boyang and Xiangting are R&D experts in AR/VR platform developing. Thank you for listening. I'm Josh, CEO of Mach.
Thank you so much, Josh, for that fantastic insight into how to build a platform where you, without code, you can create a whole world of AR and VR. And with that, we are getting to our last startups, and they are actually from Austria. So I'll pass it back to Daniel for a quick intro.
Thanks, Layla, and thanks, MyFly, for that brief pitch. So our last startup is from Austria, and it is STRYME, and they are a video solution expert company, and they distribute broadcast equipment by producing high-quality live videos without any equipment except your own smartphone.
Hi guys, my name is Gotze and I'm the CEO and founder of STRYME and Tourmato. STRYME is a video solution expert company based in Vienna and San Francisco. We have over 15 years experience in the broadcast and media industry. With Tubicon, we solved the problem from the content producer caught between the rising cost of video production and getting the message into the world. The need for online content is growing rapidly. The conventional TV production is too expensive only for online content, so we need a new and low-cost online content creation model. Tubicon is a live video production and streaming platform in one, so it's ready to use end-to-end solution. You don't need any kind of broadcast equipment, so you can use your smartphones. It's easy to use and in real time, so you have no additional post-production cost. Benefit for you: cost reduction up to 90% for the same high-quality audio and video content, no investment cost, and you can create more content and stream to all social media platforms to reach your audience. So, best way to show how Tubicon works is to switch to Tubicon. Now I'm using a smartphone as a camera and laptop like a video mixer. I can insert easily graphic and lower third. I can insert my logo. For example, I can switch between different camera angles, but the audio is still clear and sync. And all these I can do in real time and live and stream to all social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube simultaneously. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gotcha. And just to be clear, all the little legs that comes from Zoom and not from the startups. So like if he's talking about like a live streaming solution, or like Josh talking about AR, VR platforms, those platforms don't lag. That's Zoom, that's our end here in this event. So I just wanted to make that clear in case there was some, questions about that. And with that, I let Megan close up the event with some hints about the networking and about how to get in touch with the startups.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody, thank you so much for attending the event. Stick with us if you want to meet some of the incredible startups that pitched today. Congratulations to our batch of companies. We're so proud of you. You guys, sitting here seeing all of your pitches, how they've transformed from day one to now, a million times better, I would say. All of you are amazing. So to our startups, congratulations. To our attendees, if you want to meet the startups, we're going to post the link to the Zoom room where we will host the networking session. I think Daniel's got it in there again, or if not, we can repost the link.
It's also here on this slide.
It's right on the slide. So we will see you in the other Zoom room. And for those of you who are unable to attend the networking session, we've got a Google form that you can feel free to fill out, and we will be sure to connect you directly with the startups afterwards. So with that, we will see y'all in the other Zoom room. Thank you.
And hang tight with us. It will take us a minute to switch to the networking. So don't worry. See you there.